So today is just a really short tutorial about clean little blippy bloppy bird and lab sounds like this. These sounds can sound really fresh, delicate, chirpy, like birds, or like water drops maybe. And they're all achieved by a very simple technique which is called filter self-oscillation. Whenever you want something to sound kind of wet, kind of bleepy, kind of bloopy, what you might want to find is a filter that can self-oscillate, preferably even without any input. As you might see on this Moog synthesizer, essentially what we've got is a mixer section where you can choose which inputs are going into the mixer, and I've got them all turned off. Everything is turned down to nothing because the filter instead is set to a very high resonance factor, which means it's going to self-oscillate. And so when I make sound, here, let me make it real simple. In fact, let me make my sequence even very simple. What you're hearing here essentially is the filter in a very high resonance mode being sequenced by the Moog DFAM. The Moog DFAM is just sending little bleepy sequences to it, and it's changing the filter frequency. And so it's creating little melodies purely from the filter. If I turn down the resonance, we have only silence. So a very highly resonant filter creates all these little very pure sounds, almost like sine waves, but with a little bit more meat to them than sine waves. And then of course I love to add a little bit of delay maybe to thicken up the sound. And then I've been experimenting with complexifying the sequence a little bit by running these external step sequencers kind of in a daisy chain mode. So what I can do, for example, is mute one of the steps or two of the steps of a 5-step sequence. I can have the Moog DFAM move slower by splitting up the clock a little bit. And so what we have now is a beautiful sequence at 140 BPM. That's looping in a kind of unstable way. And we can make really warm sounds out of it. That's really beautiful. And as I described in another video, I can now start exploring the crossroads of joy on the synth, because I can make it brighter or darker or longer or shorter. This is a beautiful groovy sequence, all thanks to the self-oscillation of the filter. Let's add a techno beat again. Notice how this is not synchronized, but I like to use a Roland TR-09 as a master clock and DJ, like nudge it forward and backwards. Remember I did this a few videos ago? Basically, the TR-09 is the most solid clock that I've found so far that stays in sync with Ableton for the longest amount of time. So I've got that sending clock via the Shakmat's Clockopon, which can do it as well, but it still goes slightly out of sync. And the TR-09, I can just set and forget for a long time. I'm having so much fun. And that's literally it. That's all I wanted to give you for today. My last few videos have been a bit too long, so let's make a short video. A little burst of inspiration. You can do this in the DAW as well. Figure out any synth that can, well, any filter that can self-oscillate, and then send CV or send any kind of a signal to modulate the cutoff of that filter. Try high sounds, low sounds. Try combining weird sequencers with synthesizers you already know. Try playing your effects like an instrument. Leave a comment to let me know what you think of this. Subscribe to the channel, like the video. Help me out with the algorithm, please. If you like the way I teach, go check out one of my courses. And until next time, stay producing, be good to each other, and take care. Bye-bye.